2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome into it. All right, we are getting everything ready to rock and roll for the radio show. Going to be a fun one today. At least it'll be an interesting one. We'll put it that way. Peter Basico will be on the show, bottom of the hour, founder of 360 Smarter Care. We're going to talk about the investments in rural health care that came from the One Big Beautiful Bill, what rural health care looks like moving forward, and, of course, the announcement of the Trump RX plan that we heard about last week. So we will get to that. Also, yes, we'll break down the current events from last weekend and get some of your thoughts on that and more. Broadcast. That being said, make sure to like it out, share it out, leave that comment, and so much more. Let's do this thing for a Monday, setting that tone, baby.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Well, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your Monday. We are setting that tone, my friends. We have a lot to talk about today. There is plenty to break down, and I am going to warn you right out of the gates. I am going to do my darndest not to sound like the grouchy, cynical, grumpy, get off my lawn type of guy today. I'm going to do my best and break this down and explain what's going through my mind right now, because we posted some stuff over the weekend that did not get some reaction, positive reaction, even from our side of the aisle. So, you know what? We're all allowed to have our opinion, and I don't really care. So we're going to have some fun today with that and break it all down for you. Plus, we have a potential government shutdown in the next week or so. What does that look like? The SAVE Act moving through, Democrats losing their minds on that, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, Peter Basico will be on the show. He's the founder of 360 Smarter Care. We'll chat about the healthcare plans, the investment in rural healthcare across the country, and after the One Big Beautiful Bill, and then, of course, the Trump RX that was announced last week from President Donald Trump. That being said, plenty to get to and a short amount of time to do it. Welcome into the program. It is The Voice of Reason. My name's Andy Hooser, broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas, but with so many radio affiliates across the nation doing our thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day here on the program. And again, I will do my darndest to try and not sound... I'm really not that old. I'm not cynical, I swear. But we have to do something different, because I think there is a larger cultural conversation that we need to have. If you enjoy our friends over at Armed American Radio with Mark Walters, I just got off that show. We covered a lot of what I want to talk about on the show today, so you can check that out as well. But did you watch all the craziness and shenanigans from over the weekend? Most importantly, got to give a happy birthday and a shout out to actually our pet dog for the family pet. Penny is her name, and I want to say she's 11 or 12. We don't really know. For those that don't know this story, we celebrate her birthday on the Super Bowl every year, because that was the weekend 10 years ago where we found her. And actually, it's kind of a fun story. She jumped into our truck. The wife and kiddo were at a gas station. They had bought something off of Facebook Marketplace. They were getting it at a gas station here in the Wichita area. And this pit bull jumps into the back of her truck during this transaction at a gas station. And she's been with us ever since. And I'm not a big pet person usually, not a big dog person usually. And Penny, we call hers, her name, a straight-up pit bull, very intimidating looking, especially with a random one that jumps into the back of your truck. That happened 10 years ago. We took her to a vet. They said that she was between 1 to 2 years old, so she's either 11 or 12. We don't really know, but she's getting older now, and she has been the best damn thing that's ever happened to our family. So happy birthday to our dog Penny, because that's just awesome. So yeah, that's the most important thing. And it was a really cool story. We really enjoy, I mean, it was meant to be, because she jumped into the truck knowing that this is going to be her family, jumped right out when we brought her home like she owned the place, and she's been with us ever since. And again, not being much of a dog person myself, she's been amazing, and she's getting older now, can't move around a whole lot. She can't jump up on the bed with us any longer, can't even really go up and down the stairs anymore. So we don't know how much longer we have with her, but we will enjoy as much of it as we possibly can. And happy birthday to Penny on Super Bowl Sunday. That being said, did anybody watch the game? Let's get there, shall we? Let's do the,
What's trending today?
All right, first and foremost, there are three things that we look at. And for a guy like myself who's not a big sports nut at all, we watch the Super Bowl. That's the one football game a year that we watch, and it's tradition for our family. And we do the same thing as everybody else, the wings and the pizza and the parties and the beer and whatever else. And we have that while we watch the game, even though that's the one NFL game that we watch a year. And I look for three things in this game. Not necessarily the game itself, which was extremely boring. No one even scored a touchdown until the third quarter. But we look for three things. We look for the entertainment of the commercials, the entertainment of the halftime show, and the messages that may or may not be said during this. And the reason we do that, because it is the biggest televised event every single year for the United States. By far, especially sporting events. I'm a UFC guy. I enjoy the UFC. Doesn't even compare to what we see for the Super Bowl every year. The largest publicly viewed event every single year on television. I believe this year they said it was right around 130 plus million individuals that ended up watching this Super Bowl, and for multiple different reasons. So you kind of have to be aware of what people are consuming when you actually watch this televised event. So I don't watch it necessarily for the game. I don't really care. I used to be a Patriots fan, growing up as a kid. Before Tom Brady, before Bill Belichick and all that, I was not a bandwagon guy. I grew up watching Drew Bledsoe, and I enjoyed that. So that being said, I kind of was leaning towards the Patriots, but I didn't really care. I don't know a single person on any one of the other teams. But I look for three things: the commercials, the halftime show, and the messaging. And what we saw was a lot of propaganda across the board. We had a really great America the Beautiful singer. Come to find out, apparently prior to singing the America the Beautiful at the beginning, she made a post on social media coming from Seattle, Washington, that she dedicated that to the LGBTQ community. Like, I don't need to know that. It was a beautiful rendition. I didn't need to know that she dedicated a song that's about America to one individualized group with this identity politics groupthink mentality. I didn't need to know that. We had Green Day. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of Green Day. Never really cared for their music. It's punk-ish, a bit lighter than what I really care for. Super popular when I was in middle school and high school, so I knew their stuff. That honestly was one of the best performances the entire weekend. Again, not if you would not have known the messaging from Green Day beforehand, that would kind of taint your opinion on whether you believe or like Green Day or not. That's, unfortunate. And to be fair, that's probably the hardest rock that we'll ever get at one of those Super Bowls, either pregame or halftime show. So I give them props for being able to at least perform and not making a political statement during the actual performance itself. That being said, the halftime show is where everybody wants to talk about. Bad Bunny versus the Turning Point USA. And I'm going to be very careful here, because I made a post yesterday that had a lot of people angry with me on our side of the aisle. But I will be the first to admit, and I stick to it, I was not a fan of the Turning Point USA performance.
Say what?
I just wasn't. I was not. And here's the reason. Messaging, I agree with the messaging, obviously. The tribute to Charlie Kirk, the religious mindset, getting back to Jesus, I agree with all of it. But if you're going to do a halftime show, you want it to be what? You want it to be entertaining. You want it to be energetic. You want it to be hyping you up. It's not supposed to be a very dramatic, artsy type of thing. It's supposed to pump you up and get you ready for the second half. And Turning Point USA, in my opinion, failed on that front because they had a huge opportunity to give an alternative, and they didn't do it. Now, Bad Bunny was marginally better than what I thought it was going to be, and that was kind of a low bar of what we had set because of all the politics that we had heard before, where he had told people, you better learn Spanish in 3 months because it's going to be all in Spanish. Well, it was all in Spanish, but he did back off that tone right towards the end, right before the show, and said, well, as long as you just dance, you're going to have a good time. So he backed off on that. He threatened to wear a dress. Very controversial. One of the reasons why Turning Point wanted to create an alternative, and then he ended up not doing that. I applaud him for that. The rest of it was Spanish dance music, and that's not usually my go-to to listen to. I've heard a lot of those songs, or at least a little bit of it, kind of, sort of, because we have a Spanish radio station that I oversee here in the Wichita market. So I was familiar, not necessarily with his songs, but with the genre in general, and at the end of the day, it was upbeat dance music that got people moving. That's kind of a success. Now, the lyrics, obviously, not the most appropriate lyrics. The dancing, not family approved, not family friendly with some of the risque dancing that was going on. So the rest of it wasn't my favorite. But the music itself, just based on strictly what you listen to, it was way more upbeat than Turning Point USA. I'll give them credit. The Turning Point USA had a really cool rendition of the national anthem with kind of a guitar thing. The first singer, I believe, Brantley Gilbert, I don't remember. I think Brantley Gilbert. I don't listen to new country. That was one of the other things. I'm like, why is it all country? He came out, had a great first song. It was upbeat. It was exciting. After that, it was a snooze fest. Sappy song after sappy song after slow song after slow song. And it bothered the crap out of me. What are you doing? Why don't you hype people up and get people excited? And then Kid Rock came out. He did his big song, his big rock song from the 90s. I enjoyed that. I cranked it all the way up. I told my daughter, who's 11, this is what we've been waiting for. Let's jam out. We cranked it up. He did one verse for 45 seconds, and then he cut it off and went to an orchestra thing with a cello and a violin, and then came back with an acoustic song and tried to go into Bible study, which, again, I agree with the message. It's not what I want to hear during a halftime show. Doesn't hype you up. Doesn't get you excited. And I know you're probably mad. You can send me messages at HooserReason.com. Some of your hate email. Totally fine. I understand the message and I agree with the messaging, but you had an opportunity to jive people up and get them excited about something as an alternative, and I don't think you delivered. That's just my personal opinion. The rest of it, Green Day did okay without their political message. America the Beautiful was done okay. Without the political message. The guy that sang the national anthem at the Super Bowl actually did a fantastic job. And then the flyover, really cool. I don't know if you saw that with the Air Force and those planes that flew over. That was cool. Well done. Well done. On the commercial front, which is the other entertainment part of it, can I just be honest? They really haven't been in the last few years. There were a couple clever ones this year. Kind of enjoyed them. There was my favorite one, and it wasn't even ranked, unfortunately, with the USA Today. There was a commercial that was right at the beginning, and a lot of people may have missed it because it was still during the pregame stuff. There was a manscaping, like beard trimming stuff. There was a manscaping commercial. That, by far, the best one out of the entire show. It was the hair that was, clogging the drain, sitting on the sink, whatever, that was singing about, why are you cutting me off? Why are you deserting me? It was very funny. I enjoyed that one. That one was by far the best commercial out there. Outside of that, there were some clever ones. The Jurassic Park one, that if, they had this particular internet, then Jurassic Park would have been fine. The amusement park would have been great. It wouldn't have had this big disaster. That was cool. The kind of sort of patriotic one from Budweiser with the horse and the bird, and then the bird grew up, and then it looked like the horse had wings, and it was just this American iconic thing. There were a couple clever ones. I guess the Bud Light, where they were chasing the keg of beer down the hill, kind of like with the Danish cheese thing where everybody's tumbling and rumbling and doing the thing. That was clever. Didn't really make me go laugh too hard, maybe a little aha, but I just miss it, man. And again, not trying to sound too cynical here, but it all sucks. I wasn't impressed. And I realized why it's not impressive much anymore is because I think in culture that we're so scared of offending somebody by going a little bit more on the radical side, cranking up that amp a little bit higher. The reason we're not seeing this over-the-top kind of stuff is because people are afraid to go over the top, because going over the top apparently is going to offend somebody in some fashion. And I think that's where culture's beginning to fail. And I'm really concerned about it. And these halftime shows, Bad Bunny, yeah, not the best message. The lyrics are pretty profane. The dancing was pretty provocative. It wasn't very good. The Turning Point USA, it just appealed to one particular demographic and an echo chamber of people. There wasn't one for just people looking for entertainment without a message one way or the other. There wasn't that. It just didn't happen. It hasn't happened in a long time, and that's really unfortunate. And I think just like with the low voter turnout rate that we see compared to other countries around the world, people have disengaged because they're tired of the messaging and the propaganda from both sides. And that's not, I mean, that's, as Republicans, this is, again, as a conservative, as a Republican leader within the party, help me help you. And we have to come to the realization that the propaganda of trying to differentiate people one way or the other and go with this particular propaganda of you have to believe this particular way, that's what's turning people off. And we're doing it with entertainment, and it's leading to people just completely disengage in the electoral process as well. And I don't want to see that happen. So I'm hoping that this conversation is not just me griping about it, but as a constructive criticism to say, how can we begin appealing to people again by changing the way that we approach issues, by changing the way that we present ourselves, and hopefully we can start winning people back again. We have momentum. Let's utilize it, baby. Come on.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever. Every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Sister name was Denise. She died of obesity at 25. She had a heart attack. I was so fat and nasty. I would eat anything. I was like 345 pounds. A quart of ice cream every hour. I had so much self-hate when I was like that. I just wanted to kill myself. We're the most powerful country in the world, and we have the most obese, fudgy people. Something has to be done about processed food in this country.
All right, that was pretty good. That was good. If you missed that one from the Super Bowl, Mike Tyson sitting there eating an apple talking about, and that was a Maha. And just, we have a bunch of pudgy people, and we need to get back on track and eat healthier, and the chemicals in the food. That was a great one. I enjoyed that. That was a quick little, the 30-second ad of Mike Tyson talking about not feeling well and eating ice cream and being out of shape and how we're the greatest nation on the face of the earth. We should probably look like it with our health as well. That was clever. I enjoyed that one. So well done. By the way, speaking of getting back in shape, I know that do not give up on your New Year's resolution. I know we're in February. Andy, it's so hard. I lost the momentum. Don't do that. Let us help you. Everybody right now is talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic, and they work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. That's great, but what if you're looking to lose weight, as you continue to do so throughout this year, but not be interested in the painful weekly injections or even be worried about some of the potential intense side effects that you could get with some of the GLP-1s? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results have been pretty remarkable. I'm down, I want to say like 8 or 9 pounds, and I started taking it at the beginning of the year. No changes. And what I've done, just taking it every morning as a supplement, it's been pretty amazing. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it to energy, and curb your appetite and cravings so you're not as hungry. But Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a couple pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds that they want to lose. Let's get you started right now with my listeners and get 20% off and free rushed shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to TakeLean.com. TakeLean.com. When you get there, check out, use the promo code REASON, REASON. Again, REASON with that promo code at TakeLean.com. You'll get 20% off. You'll get the free rush shipping, and you'll get it as soon as you can. Tell me how you're doing with it. Go to TakeLean.com and use that promo code REASON. All right, this halftime show, we have an opportunity to really change the dynamic here. And again, nothing against the messaging of Turning Point USA because it was a great message. But is that going to appeal to the average person looking for pure entertainment? They were slow. It was slow, sappy country songs. And for someone who wants a halftime show to get you pumped up, then I don't think that necessarily did it. Now, for Bad Bunny, the lyrics not the most acceptable for family friendly. The provocative dancing, not the most family friendly out there. I don't care that he speaks Spanish. The message we're getting right now, and all hate from the other side is, oh, that's because he's Puerto Rican, he was singing in all Spanish, and therefore you're racist, right? That's what we hear. And I'm here to tell you, I don't care about that part. You know, for dance music, it got you moving a little bit. I really don't care. I don't know what he said, but I don't really care that it was in Spanish. That means nothing to me. We're looking for something a little more family-friendly, and we're looking for something that's going to hype you up for the next half of a football game. That's the point of a Super Bowl show. And I don't know which one delivered more, to be honest. They both were not at that par. I guess Bad Bunny had more energy, but the Turning Point USA had a better message. But Are you looking for a particular message, or do you want to be entertained in that fashion? Speaking of, by the way, of messaging,
What's trending today?
outside of the Super Bowl, there was also the Olympics that were going on, and I spent all the day leading up to the Super Bowl. Mrs. Voice of Reason really enjoys figure skating. Little Voice of Reason has never seen figure skating, but is now lumped figure skating into, because she does ballet on ice, which, to be honest, is not necessarily that far off. And we spent a lot of time on Sunday watching national figure skating competitions in the Olympics because she really got sucked in and really enjoyed that one. There have been some controversy of people wearing the American flag representing America at the Olympics that have said that they're conflicted on how to represent because of the politics internally going on in the country, and I find that very troubling as well. Got to take a break. We got lots more to get to here for a Monday for the Voice of Reason. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
Truth, reason, and common sense. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, welcome back into the program. Great to have you today for a Monday, setting that tone for the entire week, trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag, trying to rebrand the millennial generation, one radio listener at a time. Have no fear, the voice of reason is here. And we got plenty to talk about. All right, enough of the pop culture, man. I look, there's a reason it's pop culture. A lot of people pay attention to it. We got to break it down a little bit, but there's a lot of policy going on as well. We are still in limbo on the government shutdown, partial government shutdown that we have right now with DHS funding, Department of Homeland Security, on what that looks like with ICE funding and moving forward. Also, at the same time, the SAVE Act is still being discussed in Congress. Democrats losing their minds over it. So we will get to all that a little bit later. But at the same time,
what's trending today?
Not sure if you heard, but last week the Trump administration officially announced their Trump RX, bringing down pharmaceutical prices as we look at the health care reforms. We have Republicans that are supposedly putting out a plan to replace Obamacare, or at least some type of healthcare reform option with more options that are out there, and then Trump RX, and then rural healthcare, and so much more. Mark Cuban actually made a statement which, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't he not like Donald Trump? But he really liked the whole Trump RX plan.
We'll work with Trump RX. I mean, it's incredible. It's stupendous. It's like the most incredible program ever. And so we're excited to offer them our API so that they'll be able to download our daily prices. So when they go down, everybody benefits. Plus, I like what they're doing with the MFNs because, as I mentioned in my comments, our brand drugs are more expensive because PBMs are involved. And with Trump RX and the MFN program, that allows manufacturers to work around the PBMs and work directly to patients. So I think it'll save seniors, it'll save everybody a lot of money.
All right, so there was also an announcement from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. saying that pretty soon, just like a menu at a restaurant, that hospitals will be having the prices of their services on their website for you to be able to price out exactly how much it's going to cost. What does that look like for the healthcare industry as a whole? What does that look like for rural healthcare as we see the one big beautiful bill spending a lot of money to go into reinvesting into rural healthcare across the country? That's where we go to with our next guest on the program.
Let's go to the Hooser Media Hotline.
That's right. Really happy to have on. He is the founder of 360 Smarter Care, Mr. Peter Basica. Pete, how are you, my friend?
I am doing well. How are you?
Hey, we are living the dream. Happy Monday, and I appreciate you joining. I am excited the fact that we're focusing on healthcare. It's been a major issue for a long time. Maybe a day late and a dollar short in some cases because it's been a long time coming, but at least we're finally starting to address some of these issues now.
We have our hands full. To put it in perspective, think of healthcare as a lobby group of Mike Tyson in his prime, and think of us as a healthcare consumer as bantamweights fighting in golden gloves. We've lost before we even started.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. The announcement from the One Big Beautiful Bill, $50 billion over the next 5 years going to rural health care across the country. What does that exactly do? Is it good news? I know that there's a lot of transformation in the healthcare industry overall right now, but what does this actually do for rural health care?
When you break it down to the eligible population, and eligible population being less than 500 people per square mile, the dollars break down to all of $101.15 per person. Individually, this does absolutely nothing to move the needle. My concern is that there is no voice of reason in D.C. or in most state governments, and what will happen is the money will be squandered on things that are needed. When I say squandered on things that are needed, what I'm talking about is putting a new MRI into a hospital that can't afford a new one does make sense to a certain degree, but it doesn't transform anything.
Right.
You still have a hospital that doesn't make enough money to keep state-of-the-art equipment in place. What this money should be used for are pilot programs that are truly transformational, that after 2 or 3 years of operation are actually self-sustaining because they save sufficient money to pay their own way.
Sure.
And if we're doing anything else with those programs but that, we're throwing the money away.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, yeah, if we can't afford it, why would we continue? It kind of reminds me of the COVID money that came into city councils and county commissions and school boards, to where we're going to expand services with this money that we got during COVID, but now that the money's dried up, we don't know how to sustain it, so we're still going to be in a worse position of now than what we were back then. So what is the solution for rural healthcare? Because I live in middle of Kansas. I live in a rural community. We have struggling families and farmers all across the state of Kansas and beyond this Mid-America region to actually have access to healthcare. Is it more centralization of hospitals? Is it breaking up big hospitals and going back to small family clinics? What needs to be done here to actually move the needle in the right direction?
Oh, absolutely great questions. And the answer is we need to use technology to go backwards. And by backwards, I mean we need to go back to when the family physician delivered mom and dad's first baby, took care of that baby, took care of mom and dad, and when that baby grew up and they decided to start that family, that second family, the same doctor was there. And what's important about that is it wasn't the doctor, it was a family member that was trusted. And when the doctor said, do this, you did it because you believed and trusted in that relationship.
Right.
That relationship has evaporated, especially post-COVID and all of the political divisiveness that followed. So what we need to do is restore that one-to-one relationship using technology. And the way we do that is with FDA-approved devices that literally go to the home, but they are medical-grade diagnostic tools that can do everything from look in your ear like an otoscope to a pulse oxygen sensor that goes on your finger to an EKG remotely.
Yeah.
But you build a virtual care team just as though they were sitting in a brick-and-mortar office, and the patient gets to know the staff and build that personal relationship from their home.
Yeah.
We can eliminate visits that are unnecessary that can be diagnosed this way, but we go even further. And you use technology to scrape the data that's on a person's phone about their health and report it back to the physician's office in an actionable way. And by actionable, I mean it's nice to have a continuous glucose monitor on your upper arm if you are a diabetic, but all it's doing is dumping your A1C data down. What we need to know is when your A1C is above the level the doctor set for you for a certain number of days, so that the physician's office can be notified, reach out and ask you how you're doing and why is your A1C so high before something bad happens.
Yeah.
Proactive medicine, all using technology, which will reduce cost. It's the wave of the future, and it needs to be piloted and tested, refined, and put into practice now using this RHT money.
I love that. I love that idea, and I love how you put that as well, using new technology to go back to the old school way of doing things, because we didn't need a major hospital before in an area for you to go and do your checkups or for you to go and do basic stuff. We didn't need that. We need that family physician. We need that small clinic that can visit your home, and if you can even do that online, which is really cool. Pete, when did we go astray? You mentioned COVID, and I know the COVID really changed the industry a lot, but did it happen prior to that as well? And I like to always reference back to the beginning of Obamacare, when we heard, if you want to keep your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you want to keep your plan, you can keep your plan. And then government came in, and yeah, you could technically keep it if they were able to survive and actually keep their doors open, because it kind of centralized all this stuff into these bigger conglomerate areas. Is that when we started seeing a lot of this change happen?
It accelerated the change, but the change was there before that. As health insurance companies started to tell doctors how to practice medicine, that's where we went wrong. When they assigned a physician a 15-minute visit with a patient, that's where we went wrong. It's not even 15 minutes with a patient. It's 15 minutes, but it's 5 minutes to read the chart before you walk into the exam room. It's 5 minutes in the exam room, and then it's 5 minutes to fill out the chart after you leave the room.
Right. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Your 360 Smarter Care, let's talk about that for a moment. What exactly does that do?
We are a digital therapeutic. And what does that mean? It means we work with a patient to empower them to be able to take control of their own health. An example would be a typical insurance-based diabetic program is something that you're going to do online or go to a class for a couple of weeks, month, maybe even a quarter. But then, of course, you learned everything you need to know, and your behavior has changed for life, and you're going to be just fine. People don't work that way. People change incrementally, a small bit at a time. So we use what we call mild learning, micro-learning, micro-doing, and empower people through a series of text messages, literally 1 or 2 a week, to help them get on track. But the course curriculum is based on the year that you're in the program. Just like when you went to college, the first year you're in our diabetic program, you get 101 course material. The second year, it's 201, 301. 5 years out, you're in graduate school on this stuff. Yeah. And what we're doing is moving somebody from a typical average adherence level to prescription drugs, as an example, runs about 45% in the United States. Over 36 months, we can take a 45%er up to an 80%er. And 80% is magic. At 80%, the drugs actually work and you get healthy. That's the kind of thing that's missing. Incremental changes, empower the patient, get them to start feeling better, and it changes the world for them.
Yeah, and like you said, do it in a proactive way. We're not going back to the doctor and just doing this, recovery whenever things go wrong, but making proactive decisions, which is what I think a lot of people are focused on, and they've been focused on with it since COVID, and saying, wait a second, I'm going to take my health back into my hands and make my own healthcare decisions. Pete, hang on the line. We got to take a break. It's Peter Baska, founder of 360 Smarter Care. 360, the number 360, smartercare.com is the website, and you can check out their cool stuff. I can't wait to check it out myself. We got lots more to cover when we come back around the corner on the future of the healthcare industry. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, DC's broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
As you know, I'm always looking for a good snack, but it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives. But now that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. I promise you'll be addicted. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all these social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
You will see dramatic reductions in the cost of popular weight loss drugs known as GLP-1s. GLP-1s.
I love it.
Novo Nordisk will be slashing the price, as an example, of Ozempic from more than $1,000 to $199. And the price of Wegovy from more than $1,300 to $199. Nobody can even believe it. A 578% difference.
The GLP-1s, they're so great. I love Donald Trump's cadence as we talk about healthcare reform. Speaking of, by the way, healthcare reform, Congress working on different alternative plans for government options, healthcare options, hopefully not government ones, but just options across the board, focusing again on the private sector. Our friends over at Americans for Prosperity are putting that pressure on them as well. I want you to go to a website at personaloption.com. That's personaloption.com. You can sign up. It's completely free, but let's know exactly where these bills are, what they look like, and how we can create more options for yourself, for your household, for your business, for whoever. Personaloptions.com. Let's get rid of the government options here that they're destroying the private market, get back to competition, better quality, lower rates across the board. Personaloption.com with our friends over at Americans for Prosperity. We're hanging out with Pete Bassica. He's the founder of 360 Smarter Care. 360smartercare.com is the website where you can see everything that he's doing. Pete, let's talk about the workforce real quickly in healthcare. And as we look at the hospitals and the centralization, we hear about, which blows my mind, these shortages of doctors and nurses. And that's weird to me, Pete, because I remember in high school and in college that a lot of people, that was kind of the go-to industry. I'm going to become a teacher or I'm going to become a nurse was kind of the go-to for a lot of individuals. Why in the world are we seeing shortages in these places now?
The cost of medical school is a huge barrier, but there are some spectacular programs that, how I wish I could remember. Langone. One of the founders of what is the big box store, Home Depot, has endowed a medical school here in New York to pay 100% of the students' tuition. Just an unbelievably generous act. But it's the cost of medical school, it's the grind of medical school, and once you're out, you're not free to practice medicine the way you believe it should be practiced.
Yeah.
You have to practice medicine the way the insurance company will pay you to practice medicine. And that is discouraging an awful lot of people, of parents who are in the medical profession to tell their children, don't go here.
Yeah. That is really sad. That leads to, are you seeing with what you guys are doing with 360 Smarter Care, with what we're seeing under the MAHA movement right now, this preventative care, are we seeing a pushback from Americans, especially during COVID, again, just saying, I'm done with being told how to do my health care. I'm done of having the big pharma industry tell me exactly what I need. This in and out 15 minutes, not look at the actual reason why I'm here, but just give you a pill or a shot or something just to mask it and move along. Are we seeing a transformation in the healthcare industry overall where people are just saying we want to do something different right now?
We are definitely hearing the discontent. How much of this is actually going to change? I really have my doubts. It's the classic, he who pays a piper calls a tune. The insurance lobby and the medical lobby in D.C. are so strong. The ACA is an excellent example. They regulated the profit that a insurance company could make in a group over, I believe it's 50 people off the top of my head, to 15% of the premium. So the first couple of years that rule was in place, of course, the health insurance companies worked on getting leaner and meaner to max out their profitability at 15%. But then we get to the next box, which is really interesting. How do I get bigger if I can only profit 15%? And the answer is pay bigger claims so the premiums can go up.
Sure.
Because, of course, it's not the insurance company's money, it's the consumer's money.
Right. So another example of price control or profit control from the government interfering with private sectors that have led to some of the disasters that we're seeing right now. Same old story, just a different industry, and that's really unfortunate. Pete, we're out of time, my friend. At 360smartercare.com is the website. Go and check it out. It's great information, and we appreciate what you guys are doing. We appreciate the conversation. I really hope, I'm always the eternal optimist on the show. Hopefully we can see some major changes, but it's going to take a lot of work to do, right?
Keep preaching and passing the word around. We need a voice of reason here.
Hey, well, we appreciate it, and you keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate what you do, and we got to get you back on the show again real soon. Again, 360smartercare.com is the website. Go and check those guys out. Pete will get you back on again soon. But we are out of time. Back at it again tomorrow. Where are we at with the shutdown? Could we see some major reform in healthcare? That is the question to behold. We'll cover that as it goes along. Until then, be your own voice of reason. Be that catalyst for change. We'll see you back on the radio soon. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic